global financial crisis affected agriculture. Really, everybody is the victim of hunger. Especially if you look at the Commission chairman, he has already been affected by hunger. May I invite the Commission chairman on environment and agricultural issue.
Chairman, sir, Director General, all protocols duly observed. I stand right before you to present a report on environment and agriculture. World Trade Organization, though having multilateral trade system as its main area of concern, also developed a serious concern on environment as it seriously affects agriculture and perhaps influence agreements on agriculture. The concern, the connection between trade and environment was recognized in multilateral trading system since the formation of GATT in 1947. Since then, there has been a marked increase in the attention given to environmental problems in every nook and crannies of the world. Looking at the United Nations Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, 1992, Kyoto Protocols in 1987, and ongoing conference on environment in Copenhagen, Germany. This indicates how the world is committed to intervene on the environmental problems which mostly affect agriculture and food security throughout the world. Researchers have shown that many human activities such as subject the world to a great calamities such as global warming, desert encroachment, melting of ice, excessive drought, vigorous erosion, excessive flooding, among others. This cannot be unconnected to failure of the most industrialized countries to implementation of the policies and agreements reached in the last summit held at Dakar 2008. And this contributes to overall effect of the above-mentioned hazards and also influence the occurrence of some catastrophes experienced in different parts of the world, such as tsunami, which engulfed most part of southern part of Asia, typhoon in Thailand, hurricane in America, European flooding, lack of rainfall in some part of Africa, continuous decrease in farmlands due to desert encroachment, pollution of water which decrease feed production, among others. Developing countries were at great straits with respect to the above-mentioned issues of climatic changes, especially with respect to agricultural production, where studies exposed the dying of farmers, animals, waste of natural food crops, and lots more. Recognition of such of inherent global pollution and resource problem that affect agricultural lands and production has further proved environmental problems. Trade affect environment as production and consumption of some traded goods lack a scientific method and necessary chemicals employed damages the goods traded. The liberalization of such goods, as alleged by some scholars, aggravates the environmental problems. The agreement on technical barriers on trade gives a legal basis for restriction the importation of such environmental harmful products. At this juncture, Mr. Chairman and member countries, I would like to assure you that World Trade Organization under my commission is fully committed to overcome the problems and look into the suggestion and complaints registered by some countries on environment and agriculture. Thank you very much. I wish you a hitch-free negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission on Environment Affecting Agricultural Issue. Fellow delegates, we have heard heard all the issues raised by various commissions. These commissions are in no doubt that they have conducted an intensive, educative, and extensive research towards finding out the problems bedeviling the activities of the WTO. Let me react to the issue raised by the Chairman Commission on Trade. We have heard from the report that some aggrieved, some teeming, pulverized, and impoverished farmers invaded 1,000-hectare plantation embarked by foreign investors. I hope my country, Brazil, and my citizens will not do the same in my own country. And secondly, the issue of domestic support, market access are still issues that are rocking the future of the WTO. My fellow delegates, these are issues from the secretariats. We have heard them from the remaining players of the team of the secretariats, and the Director General has already done his own part. Before now, I will now open the floor for the fellow trade representative for their own comments and their speeches. But before I do that, I would like to draw the attention to something that is partly affecting the developing countries. Rather, the issue of subsidy is worldwide phenomenon.
This is CNN World News. We'll now link you up with our correspondent, Sophie Hamburg. Hello, Sophie. How many countries are expected to participate in this
Yeah, Sophie, please, can you tell us what do you think from what has been going on? What is going to be probably the outcome of this summit?
Well, from now, I think we are going to sit down and talk about some issues, because now mostly according to the speeches, it's mostly on agriculture, agreements on agriculture. So I think at the end of everything, you're going to sit down and concentrate.
Thank you very much, Sophie. We will link up with you later.
Okay.
May I invite the Commerce and Trade Minister? Let me invite the Commerce and Trade Minister or the great representative of EU, European Union. Mr. Peter Mandelson.
Mr. Chairman, the Director General, all protocol duly observed. Good day. As part of our effort toward reviving the Doha round, European Union set out the case for cuts in agricultural tariffs. Although there is a trade-off in agriculture for European Union interest in services and industrial goods, and to reduce similar barriers in US, ultimately reductions are needed to fulfill the Doha round development goals. This is true not only in agriculture, but also to unlock the development potentials of wider trade in services and in non-agricultural goods, and to reach not just the poor, but the rural urban poor in advanced developing countries such as Brazil and China. The European Union Preferential Access Scheme for Agricultural Import is a great one. And also we have the best record in developed world in providing agricultural market access for poor country producers. But Europe will never allow itself to become as selfish or indifferent. Look, if we want greater market access for our top quality producers, especially in the growing middle class markets of rapidly emerging countries, we have to give increased agricultural market access in return. If we want the US to reform its own domestic subsidy regime, and if we want the Brazilians to cut industrial tariffs and open up on services, then we have to move on agricultural tariffs. There are huge differences differences in competitive advantage among developing countries. That is why we should allow continued margins of preference for poor country producers. It is also why Europe and other developing countries will not hide behind the concerns of those faced with preferences erosion in order to escape from the obligations contained in the last year's framework agreement. I want to remind you all that the world's poor do not only live in the smaller and more vulnerable countries that benefit from our preferences. They also work in land in big agricultural exporting countries such as Brazil and China. Ladies and gentlemen, we are, as you know, at a crucial point of decision in today's WTO trade talk. My message to you all, and the message I am appealing to you to take back to the most senior level of your government, is a simple one. Let us decide in this meeting to give Doha a chance. I want to demonstrate to you that European Union is ready to put trade policies at the service of development. I want to affirm to you that I submitted earlier this year to the European Parliament and European Union government a report containing developing countries' access to our market. This report can be summarized in one sentence: that developing countries could now be able to climb out of poverty through trade. But of course, Europe could have done a lot. So, where do we go from here? As the European Union, we have responsibilities to the Doha negotiations, including in the field of agriculture. There are actions that we cannot avoid, either economically and morally. And these actions are essential to unlock the potential development gains of the Doha round. Our approach here is to maximize gains in all key sectors of the negotiations. At the same time, to pursue Europe's own legitimate interest in wanting to widen market access opportunities in the growing middle-class market of rapidly emerging countries. I want to interpret my negotiating mandate in these two broad sense. One, to be jobs in Europe. Secondly, to be pro-poor in the world. I see no inconsistency in these great responsibilities. In Europe, we need to generate jobs in the knowledge economy sector where we have a long-term comparative advantage. At the same time, developing countries should, through trade, realize the opportunities offered by their own comparative advantages. And this is the basis of free and fair trade. Ladies and gentlemen, this round must therefore provide for opportunities across the developing world. And this world is a diverse one. Moreover, by improving agricultural market access, we can in turn get bigger developing countries to open their markets in agriculture, in industrial goods, and in services. To also open their markets for other developing countries who need access to these markets as they become more efficient agricultural exporters and begin a successful process of industrialization, starting with the most basic product and sectors. In conclusion, we face major challenges together. But the biggest challenge of today is to make a success of Doha. We cannot falter now. Europe owes it to the developing world to ensure that we deliver on what we promise. And I count on your support all in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The powerful and palpable EU representative, Mr. Peter Mandelson. The issue of market access, tricky, touchy, sensitive, and doubting. Now, let me invite the Commerce and Trade Minister of Chile, in person of Mr. Andre Velasco.